The following is a special presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Good morning, afternoon, evening. My name is Ron Juckett. Welcome to a special program on this 29th day of July 2025. We mourn the loss of Ryne Sandberg, who died of cancer last night or yesterday, the 28th of July, at the age of 65. Born in 1959. He might have actually turned 66, but had lost his fight. Actually, I'm going to use the old Norm Macdonald line with that. He fought cancer to a draw, and so they both lost. And it is our loss, especially if you are a Cubs fan. Now, normally when we do these tribute games, I go through and try to pick out best games and all that in their signature year. But if you're going to do Ryne Sandberg, there's only one game you can possibly do, and that is June 23rd, 1984. In an entire decade of games in the 24,000 or so regular season games played between 1980 and 1989, there's probably only a handful that have you can call by one name. And on this particular Saturday afternoon, June 23rd, 1984, it's the Sandberg game, when he pulls the Cubs out of the fire twice, once in the ninth and once in extra innings, to propel the Cubs past Bruce Sutter and their arch rival, the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, the Cubs come into 1984 not having made the playoffs since 1945. They came close in 69, but the Mets beat them out. They came close in 77 around this time of the year and petered out. So there is pennant fever in Chicago as they take the field for this afternoon tilt against the Cardinals. A couple things to note here. We all saw this game, those of us of a certain age, but it wasn't the A game on NBC's Game of the Week. I believe Vin and Joe were elsewhere, and their game got rained out. So there was no Vin Scully and Joe Garagiola on this Saturday afternoon. That's why we got Bob Costas and Tony Kubek instead. This was the backup game. And oh, what a game it was. And so we pay tribute to Ryne Sandberg by playing his game. As Retro Sports Network presents a Major League Baseball special, a tribute to Ryne Sandberg. From Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois, it is the Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find Dave and Vinny today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. So it will be Steve Trout on the mound for the Cubbies on a warm day in Wrigley. The wind blowing in at 17. It's going to take a lot to get one out of here. Trout, better than I thought he was. Good mid-rotation pitcher. The Rainbow was 26 in 1984. Throws an 86-mile-an-hour fastball and is a ground ball plus pitcher. He went 13-7 in 84. He made 31 starts on the year. Let me make sure I'm not playing the Cardinals too. There we go. He went 190 innings, 205 hits, just allowed 7 home runs, a pitch-to-contact pitcher, 59 walks, and 81 strikeouts. This will be the lineup that he will face today. Lonnie Smith leads off in left for St. Louis. Ozzie Smith will bat second and play short. Willie McGee is in center field and he goes third. And if you look at just how little power this team has, Willie McGee with his 6 homers is their number 3 hitter. George Hendrick, the man, the myth, the legend, cleans up in right field. David Green, who will go to San Francisco the next year, is at first. He'll bat 5th They got Jack Clark instead, who was a little bit better at first than David Green. Tommy Herr doesn't have a picture. In 84, he'll bat second and play. He'll bat sixth and play second base. Art Howe is at third this afternoon. He'll bat seventh. Darrell Porter behind the plate goes eighth, and Ralph Citarella. I have never heard of him before. He will be on the mound for St. Louis and bat ninth. Steve Trout can give you 125 pitches, which should get him pretty deep in the ballgame. Defensively for the Cubs, the Sarge, Gary Matthews, a 5 and a 5 in left. Bob Dernier, a 9 and a 6 in center. Keith Moreland, a 4 and a 7 in right. Ron Say is a 6 at third. Larry Boa, a 7 and a 7 at short. The man of the hour, Ryne Sandberg, a 10 and a 10 at second. My goodness. And Leon Durham, a 6 at first. Jody Davis behind the plate. He's a 7 and a 5. Steve Trout, not a bad fielder. An 8 range with a .938 fielding percentage. This is a massive home run park at Wrigley Field. We will see, however, how much of a difference that makes. That wind is harsh blowing in. Lonnie Smith leads off for St. Louis, hitting .250 in 84, 6 homers and 49 RBI. And Trout begins this one, a fly ball to center. Dernier goes back. What out for the Wizard, Ozzie Smith, hitting .257, 5 triples, a homer, and 44 RBI. Trout deals, and Ozzie draws the walk. So Ozzie has good speed along with everyone else here with the Cardinals. Here's Willie McGee. McGee at .291, 11 triples. So he has, dead ball power. 6 homers, 50 RBI, and 43 steals. Trout throws to first, and Ozzie is back. They'll go to the plate. Runner goes. It was a hit and run. That'll hook down the line and left, and that's in the Bartman seats for a foul ball. A ball and 2 strikes, 1 out to McGee. Top of the first, no score. And the man, the myth, the legend, Ryne Sandberg, is just a human being at second base at the moment. Pitch to McGee is bounded past Durham into right field. Moreland will grab it, and everyone will hold with the 1 base. So the first hit of the ball game belongs to St. Louis. Here is George Hendrick. George was with the Pirates in 85. This is the 85 picture pack. Hitting .277, 9 home runs, and 69 RBI. Hendrick, as you know if you're a regular of the channel, is the butt of Todd B's jokes, but probably best remembered by those of us who didn't hate him as someone who was so upset with the owners that he played without the logo sticker from the Cardinals on his helmet. It was just a plain red helmet, no STL. Pitch to Hendrick. There's a base hit past Boa into left field. Matthews throws it in, and the bases are loaded for David Green. Hitting .268, 15 homers, and 65 RBI. So the Wizard on third. McGee could score almost on a pass ball. He is that fast, and Hendrick, he's not super slow, but he's not fast either. Trout deals. Struck him out. It got him to chase an 0-2 fastball or breaking ball. So 2 out for Tommy Herr. I believe the game probably has it as Tom Herr, so there's no picture. Tom at .276, 4 homers and 49 RBI in 84. Trout deals. Herr, high ground ball to Boa, and Larry can't play it, and there's a run already on the board. So the old man Boa couldn't quite hold on to it, and it's 1-0 St. Louis. And the faithful here at Wrigley Field are already restless. So that brings up Art Howe. Art at .216, 2 homers and 12 RBI. So again, McGee on third, Hendrick on second, and Herr on first, Hendrick being the slow cog in the wheel. Trout deals. There's a sharp ground ball to Say. Ron goes over to Durham, and Howe is retired. So there was some damage, but it wasn't horrible by any stretch. Cardinals get a run on 2 hits. They leave them loaded, and there was an error. Half an inning in the books. 1-0 St. Louis. Ralph Citarella, who by the time that Ryne Sandberg became the man, the myth, the legend, was long gone out of this game, made 2 starts for the Cardinals in '84 in 10 appearances. He went 0-1 with a 3.63 ERA. He is 26 years old. He throws a fastball around 89, and it is a ground ball plus pitcher. He only threw 22 in the 3rd innings, allowed 20 hits, he walked 7, and struck out 15. So not a bad pitcher, but on this team that is loaded with pitching, he just couldn't break through. Here's the Cubs lineup for you. Bob Dernier leads off in center. The man of the hour, Ryne Sandberg, will bat second and play second. Gary Matthews in left will go third. Leon Durham cleans up at first. Keith Moreland in right will bat fifth. There's not a 30 home run hitter on this team. Jody Davis behind the plate, batting sixth. The wily veteran Ron Say at third, going seventh. Larry Boa at short, batting eighth. And Steve Trout on the mound, going ninth. And Citarella, this will be a bullpen game for the Cardinals. He can get to probably 6 innings at 85 pitches. Defensively for St. Louis, Art Howe is a 5 at third. The Wizard, Ozzie Smith, a 10 and a 10 at short. Tommy Herr, a 6 and a 7 at second. David Green is a 6 at first. Lonnie Smith, this is not a super outfield, a 4 and a 6 out there and left. McGee, with his speed, has great range. He is a 9 out there with a 6 arm. And the best arm out there, be shocked, Todd B., is George Hendrick. He is a 5 and a 7. Darrell Porter, a 5 and a 5 behind the plate. Citarella, he's average. He's a 5 with a 1,000 fielding percentage. Dernier at 278. 3 homers and 32 RBI. And this one starts with ball 4. So Dernier draws the walk, and that'll bring up Sandberg. Sandberg will finish 4th in batting average at 314. His 36 doubles were 4th. He's tied with the league leader in triples with 19. He hit 19 homers, so that was 14th, and he drove home 84, good for 15th. And he stole 32 bases and had an OPS plus of 139. So he was pretty dandy. Dernier with good speed on first. So Sandberg is hitting at 314, 19 homers, 19 triples, and 84 RBI. Citarella on this warm day, kind of looking kind of lost out there. Throws over to Green, and Dernier is back. So now time to get to work on Rhino. Pitch to Sandberg. That's a base hit into left center field. Lonnie Smith will pick it up. Dernier will hold. So 2 on, nobody out for the Cubs. For the Sarge, Gary Matthews. Gary at 291. 14 homers and 82 RBI. He'd score 100 runs. 101 to be exact, which is amazing considering he hit 3rd in the lineup. There's a bounder to Green. What's Dave going to do with it? He goes to Ozzie for 1, back to Green, and that is a 3-6-3 double play. 2 out, Dernier goes to 3rd for Leon Durham, hitting 279, 23 homers, and 96 RBI. Citarella delivers, and there's a hard shot to Green. He'll take it to the bag, and the Cubs can't score. No runs, a hit, no errors. After 1 here at Wrigley, St. Louis 1, Chicago nothing. So 8, 9, and 1. Porter, Citarella, and Lonnie Smith. Darrell at 232, 11 home runs, and at Busch, that's a metric ton, and 68 RBI. Trout starts the second, by walking Porter. Full count fastball missed down and out for Cinderella, who's going to bunt here. Ralph 1 for 4 on the year. Durham and Say play for the bunt. Cinderella delivers and bunts it foul, first base side. Porter on first. Struck him out. Trout got him. He chased a hard fastball. 1 out. Opening 9 for Trout. 31 pitches. Ending in the third. 2 hits, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Lonnie Smith is 0 for 1. There's a double play ball. Boa. Nope, goes to first with it because of the speed. So Porter moves to second. I thought Boa could have gotten 2 out of that. He didn't go to Sandberg. He goes to Durham, 6-3, 2 out. For Ozzie Smith, who walked and scored the game's lone run in the first. And he walked. So Trout kind of has come out here on this warm day like he's just come off the ice pack on the boat. McGee singled his first time up, 1 for 1. So Porter on second and Smith on first for McGee. Trout has walked 3 and struck out 2. That is a ground ball to third. Say cuts off Boa, goes to Durham. There's a lot of speed here, and McGee beat it out. It wasn't a bad play by Say. It might have been Boa's ball. Say stepped in front of him, threw it to first, and again, the Cardinals are like the Indy cars of the 1980s. There's just speed everywhere. So here is George Hendrick, who singled his first time up. Porter on third, Smith on second, McGee on first. Remember, the Cardinals put up 9 in this game in real life. Pitch to Hendrick. There's a hard shot to first. Durham has it, takes it to the bag, and the Cardinals, after an inning and a half, have left on 6. This time around, no runs, a hit, and no errors. After 1.5, St. Louis 1, Chicago nothing. So Moreland, Davis, and Say to face Cinderella here in the second. Keith at 279, 16 homers, and 80 RBI. There's a hard shot to Ozzie. Backhand throw to Green. 1 out. So in this year that the Cubs would become champions for the first time in anything since 1945, they're just consistent. This lineup, Say is the biggest power threat. Sandberg, probably the biggest extra base hit threat. But they're all consistently good hitters. Jody Davis at 256, 19 homers, and drove in 94. Cinderella's pitch, Davis up the middle. Ozzie does what Ozzie does best. He cut it off behind the bag and threw him out. So 2 out for Ron Say. The Penguin at 240, 25 homers, and 97 RBI. Say digs in. Struck him out. The first for Cinderella, and the Cubs go in order after 2. Cardinals 1, Chicago nothing. So Green, Herr, and Hal to face a struggling Trout here in the third. The wind blowing in at 16. So all the flags on that scoreboard are coming straight in. And it is a beautiful but balmy 78. Green struck out again. He struck out his first time up, and he strikes out again. He chased a bad fastball. 1 out for Herr, who was 0 for 1. That is a ground ball to third. Say over to Durham, and Herr is retired. 2 out. For Art Howe, Art is 0 for 1. So Trout settling in here. The Cardinals should have a bigger lead, to be honest. Pitch to Howe, draws the walk. So the Cardinals have put runners on in all 3 innings here. For Darrell Porter, who walked his first time up. Fourth walk for Trout, and he's already at 64 pitches with 2 out here in the third. Hal looked at a full count fastball or full count off speed pitch outside. Pitch to Porter. That's up the middle. Sandberg with a grab over to Durham, and that will do. So Ryne behind the bag, and that will end the inning for the Cardinals. They've left on 7. No runs, no hits, no errors. Bottom 3 here at Wrigley. Cardinals 1, Cubbies nothing. So it'll be Boa, Trout, and Dernier to face Cinderella here in the third. Larry at 223, 2 triples and 17 RBI. Cinderella's pitch. There's a ground ball to Ozzie. He waits for it, has time to autograph it, throws to first, 1 out. For Trout, who hits like one, at 131, 8 for 61, and 3 RBI. That is up the middle. Ozzie again throws it to Green, and there's 2 out. So the opening 9 for Cinderella at 38 pitches. 2 2/3. The 1 hit, Sandberg, a walk, and a strikeout. Dernier walked his first time up, the lone walk. That's a base hit left field. That one got past Ozzie. Lonnie Smith picks it up, throws it in. 2 out for Sandberg, who singled his first time up. He had 200 hits for the Cubs in '84. You wonder today if they would ever give an MVP to a guy that had 19 home runs. He did strike out 101 times. So 1 on, 2 out for Sandberg. Cinderella throws to first. Dernier is back. Do we hit and run? No, I'm not going to hit and run here. I will steal. So there goes Dernier. The throw down to her, and Bob has a steal. He stole 45 on the year. So Sandberg has a runner in scoring position in a 1-strike count with 2 out. And Wrigley just kind of leans collectively forward in their seats. Cinderella deals. Fly ball right field. Hendrick will go back to the track. George loafs over, but with 2 out, not much you could do about that. That's an out. So the Cubs have left on 2. No runs, a hit, no errors. And after 3 here at Wrigley, 1-0 St. Louis. So Trout to face Cinderella and Lonnie and Ozzie Smith. 18 batters deep for Trout, 66 pitches, 3 innings, 3 hits. He has walked 4 and struck out 3. Cinderella being one of them. That is a base hit into right center field. Moreland will throw it back in, and that's the 4th hit for the Cardinals. And a rare Cardinal runner that can't steal. Now Trout has faced 18 batters. Lonnie Smith is 0 for 2. I gave you Trout's numbers for only 17 batters. We will address this in the staff meeting later. Pitch to Smith. Lonnie pops it up. Boa makes the catch. 1 out for Ozzie, who has walked twice and scored the game's lone run, the first. So in 1984, if you weren't around then, or maybe not paying as much attention to baseball, the Cubs were no lights at Wrigley Field. Most of the country that was wired for cable was getting WGN. It's interesting because I had it when I lived in New Mexico, when Jack Brickhouse was calling the Lovable Losers, and then we got it in '84. So it's Harry Carey, who is a legend in Chicago at this point and in St. Louis, but it really hasn't become a national legend quite yet. This would be the year that would do it. They used Van Halen's Jump as the theme for all their games. And so the Cubs, if you had cable, were pretty much an everyday thing. And unlike Atlanta, which struggled for most of the entire decade on TBS, I mean, the Cubs were, but Atlanta played in prime time a lot. And the Cubs, again, were, without the lights at Wrigley, were an afternoon affair. Pitch to Smith. Ozzie swings. That's a base hit over Boa. Matthews picks it up. Cinderella will hold it second. So runners on first and second, one out for Willie McGee, who has singled twice. So the Cubs, showing the power of television, again, we're on every day. They made some smart trades. Dallas Green was their GM. They got rid of fan favorite Bill Buckner, sent him to Boston for Dennis Eckersley, a deal that both teams won. They eventually would trade, I believe, Mel Hall and Joe Carter to Cleveland and got Rick Sutcliffe, who caught fire once he got out of Cleveland and propelled the Cubs to the NLCS. Pitch to McGee. There is a base hit right side. Moreland will pick it up. Cinderella will hold. So again, the Cardinals have the bases loaded for the third time today. This time for George Hendrick, who has a single. He's 1 for 2. So to show you the power of television, it was this year that kind of propelled Harry Carey into the national spotlight, that made Ryne Sandberg a household name everywhere in the sports world, and changed the perception of the Cubs. Pitch to Hendrick. George swings. This might be 2. Boa can't make a play, and Cinderella's going to score. So Hendrick reaches on the air by Boa, and it's 2-0 St. Louis. Remember, the Cubs came back in this game. It's okay if they get behind early. David Green is struck out twice. Steve Trout not liking what he's seeing. Both the errors belong to Boa. Trout got him. That's 4. He chased an 84-mile-an-hour fastball, and Green takes the collar. So 2 out for her, who was 0 for 2. And of course, going back to Harry Carey, you know that he enjoys the Cubs' great successes, especially against St. Louis. Since all the years he spent in St. Louis, was it 15, 16, maybe even longer than that, years in St. Louis before he got fired. And so, for Harry Carey, he was a Cub fan with stops in Oakland and the South Side mixed in with that. And a Bud man. Pitch to her. Tommy swings center field. Dernier will make the catch. And the Cardinals, again, they've left on 10. How do you leave? That's holy Boston Red Sox. How do you leave on 10 runners through 4? But they have, after 3.5, 1 run, 3 hits in an hour. It's the Cardinals 2, the Cubs nothing. So here are the standings and stats for the Majors, or for the National League, in 1984. The Padres were the only team in the West to finish above 500. Atlanta and Houston 12 back. The Dodgers, defending divisional champions, finished 4 games under 500. Mr. Howard will tell you that the season doesn't count. Cincinnati at 70 and 92. They got Pete Rose as a player manager halfway through that season. And San Francisco at 66 and 96. The Cubs won 96 games, had the second best record in all of baseball, 6.5 above Dwight Gooden's rookie year Mets. The Cardinals, who will win the division in 85, 84 and 78. The Phillies, the Wheeze Kids, coming off their National League championship in 83 at 81 and even. Montreal doing what Montreal did best, right around 500. And the Pirates in last place at 75 and 87. The American League West, to paraphrase Dana Carvey doing George Bush, was bad. Very, very bad. The Royals at 84 and 78 won the division. That would have made them 6th in the American League East. Minnesota and California 3 back. Oakland, the defending division champion White Sox, 10 back, along with Seattle. That might have been Seattle's best record at that point. And then Texas, 69 and 92. The Tigers, the world champions, 104 and 58. That was the year they started 35 and 5. Toronto, 89 and 73. Their best years about to come. The Yankees, who, by the way, the best winning percentage of the decade for anybody, 87 and 75. The Red Sox, not a bad year, 86 and 76, but 18 back. Then Baltimore, defending American League champions. Then Cleveland, showing signs of life, and Milwaukee, not even Bob Uecker can make that palatable. And so Ryne Sandberg fourth in batting average behind Tony Gwynn, Lee Lacy, and Chili Davis. And his 19 triples were tied with Juan Samuel of the Phillies. Mike Schmidt and Dale Murphy had 36 homers apiece, and Mike Schmidt and Gary Carter, who is still with the Expos, both drove in 106 runs. Alejandro Pena led the National League at ERA at 248. Dwight Gooden at 260, and Orel Hershiser from the Dodgers at 266. They had the pitch and they just couldn't hit. Joaquin Andujar, a 20-game winner. Sutcliffe, despite only being there half a year, only was tied with Joe Niekro with 16 wins. Bruce Sutter, who you might see in this game with 45 saves, led the National League. Lee Smith second with 33, and the Doctor struck out 276. So Matthews, Durham, and Moreland to face Cinderella here in the fourth. Gary is 0 for 1. That is a base hit, right center field. That'll get past McGee, and Hendrick loafed over. That bounced off the ivy, and Matthews has a leadoff double. For Leon Durham, who's 0 for 1. There is a ground ball to Green. Matthews goes to third, and Durham just puts up the stop sign and tips his cap. So 1 out for Moreland, who is 0 for 1. Cinderella deals, and Moreland gets hit. So Keith Smott, and he's hurt. But he's going to... No, he's not. He has to come out. So it'll be... Henry Cotto. Is he even there? Who was there for the entire year. Remember, 85 pictures. Don't worry about that with the Yankees. 23 years old. Pinch runner and late season defensive replacement, or late game defensive replacement. Jody Davis is 0 for 1. So runner is on the corner. Cinderella starting to feel the heat. It is blowing in from center at 22. It really is a windy city day. And they pitch out. No one's going. Say on deck. Cinderella throw. They're really worried about Cotto. And Henry is back to first. So Davis just smiles, swings the bat back and forth, and digs back in against Cinderella, who deals. Davis into right center field. That should score Matthews. McGee's got it. Cotto was halfway to Milwaukee. Sarge runs the throw to the plate, not in time, and Cotto moves up to second. So 2 out on the sac fly by Davis, and it's a 2-1 ball game for Ron Say, who struck out his first time up. Cinderella deals. Say pops it up. Left side, Howe will make the catch, and that will do. Cubbies, however, get on the board here in the fourth. They get a run on a hit and no errors. After 4, 2-1 St. Louis. So Howe, Porter in the pitcher spot to face Trout here in the fifth. Art 0 for 1 with a walk. And we're doing this as an exhibition game, so all could use Bill Buckner. We aren't. So Cotto, the new right fielder, he's a 6 and a 7. And now we're ready here in the fifth. There is a ground ball to Boa, who's not had a good day, over to Durham, and Howe is out on a bang-banger. Darrell Porter is walked. He's 0 for 1. Walked him. Now what do you do if you're Whitey Herzog, the computer? Fifth walk allowed. Cinderella really can't bunt. He does have a single and a run scored. Stays in the game, bounces one to Boa. Larry, Sandberg for one, and they're not going to try to get the pitcher. Boa a little late there to get to the Ryne. 2 out for Lonnie Smith. 27 batters deep for Trout with 2 out here in the fifth. 101 pitches, 4 2/3, 6 hits, 5 walks, and 4 strikeouts. So this will be a bullpen game for both teams. Lonnie Smith is 0 for 3. Lonnie Smith is 0 for 4 as he flies out one to Cotto. Henry there makes the catch, and we're halfway home. On a beautiful day in Chicago, it is the Cardinals 2. They've left on 11. Cubs 1. So, really can't do the ad in a tape game. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for St. Louis. Tommy Herr, a fielder's choice in the first, made a 1-0 St. Louis. They failed to score in the second on a hit and 2 walks. And George Hendrick, don't choke, Todd B., with a fielder's choice in the fourth to make it 2-0. Jody Davis with a sac fly in the bottom of the fourth. So we haven't had a base hit scoring a run in this game. All 3 have come on outs. And Larry Boa has made 2 errors. So Ralph Citarella, 3-hitter through 4, a run it was earned. He's walked 1 and struck out 1. And Steve Trout, 6 hits through 5, 2 runs, 1 earned. He has walked 5 and struck out 4. Sandberg, man of the moment, 1 for 2 with a putout and an assist. Larry Boa is 0 for 1. He's made 2 errors on the afternoon. That is right back up the box. Citarella throws to Green, 1 out. For Trout, who will hit here, he will pitch the 6th. Steve is 0 for 1. And for as many runners as the Cardinals have put on, they've walked 5 times and had 6 hits. That 11 left on base you see up on that scoreboard sticks out like a sore thumb. Pitch to Trout, base hit right field. How about that? So Tommy Herr doesn't make a good play, and so the tying run is on for Dernier, who is 1 for 1 on the day. He has walked and singled and stole a base. So 18 batters deep for Citarella, 4 1/3, 67 pitches, 4 hits. The run is earned. He has walked a man and struck out a batter. The walk was Bob Dernier. Right field, Hendrick has it, 2 out. For Ryne Sandberg. Rhino came over from the Phillies. I thought I saw him play in the minors, but he was already above Double-A when I saw the Reading Phillies play the Waterbury Reds during the strike in '81. Rhino 1 for 2. That's a base hit left side. Lonnie Smith will pick it up. Trout on his way to third. The throw to Howe from Smith not in time. So the tying run is Trout, and the go-ahead run is Sandberg. Here's Gary Matthews. Gary 1 for 2, a double, a run scored, and is also grounded into a double play. Citarella's pitch, and Matthews draws the walk, so Sandberg moves into scoring position with 2 out for Leon Durham, who's 0 for 2. So a single would give the Cubbies the lead. Durham 0 for 2. Porter and Citarella have a word. Ralph deals. Durham, a high ground ball past Green for a base hit. Trout scores. Sandberg scores. Matthews scores. Durham clears the bases. The Cubbies lead it 4-2. And for Citarella, the forgotten man in all this in real life, he'll come out. Jeff Lottie coming in. Cubbies 4, St. Louis 2. So Lottie is 27. 63 games in 84, 4-2, the 3.72 ERA. He is a fastball pitcher at 88 and a standard pitcher. In 84 and 2/3, he allowed 69 hits, 6 home runs. He walked 34 and struck out 45. Cotto is in the game because of the injury to, and I'm itchy. Keith Moreland. Cotto at 274 and 8 RBI. Durham has given the Cubs a 4-2 lead on the bases clearing double. Lottie's ground ball to Ozzie. Over to Green. Cotto running, but they'll get him. So a good inning for the Cubs. 3 runs, 3 hits. They've left on 4 overall. No errors. We go to the 6th here at Wrigley. 4-2 Chicago. Ozzie Smith, Willie McGee, and George Hendrick to face a tiring Trout here in the 6th. So if you look at the annals of Chicago sports history, the White Sox win the division in 83. They got bounced by the Orioles in the ALCS. They always have played second fiddle to the Cubs, I think, nationally. The Cubs go to the playoffs for the first time in 39 years. And we know what happened against the Padres. Around this time, after the NBA Finals and all that, and the Olympics in Los Angeles, the basketball team, the Bulls, will get lucky and get Michael Jordan 3rd overall. And Mike Ditka and the Bears are building something special for 85 on the football field. So really was a golden age of discovery for Chicago sports. Pitch to Smith. Ozzie hits a ground ball to Sandberg over to Durham for the out. So 1 out for McGee, who is 3 for 3 today. He has singled all 3 times up. Got him! That's 5 for Trout. Off speed inside. 2 out for Hendrick. 1 for 3. George has an RBI and a single. Trout deals. Right back up the box. Trout throws to Durham, and Hendrick is retired. We go to the bottom of the 6th here. For the first time today, I think the Cardinals go in order. After 5.5, Cubs 4, Cardinals 2. Jody Davis, 0 for 1 with an RBI. Bottom of the 6th. Lottie in relief for Ralph Cinderella. Drilled to left. And that will drop in front. No, that gets past Lonnie Smith. And Davis has a double. Lonnie, I think, went to play it as a catch, and it bounded by him. And so Lonnie had to give chase. So Jody on second for Ron Say, who was 0 for 2 with the strikeout. Struck him out. Got him looking. Stood there like a bar on the side of the road. Brings up Boa. Larry 0 for 2. 1 out, Lottie deals. And Boa draws the walk for Trout, who will be recalled. Now we have a lot of other hitters here. Who can hit a righty? And we're going to go with Richie Hebner. Hebner, 36. Hit .333 with 2 homers and 8 RBI. So the Cubs will go to the pen to get the last 9 outs. Hebner hoping to expand the lead a bit. Got him. Didn't work. Hebner chased 2 out for Dernier. Bob, 1 for 2, a single, a walk, and a steal. Davis on second, Boa on first, 2 out, 4-2 Cubs, bottom 6. Porter and Lottie have a word. Jeff deals. Struck him out. Whatever it was, it worked. Cubbies don't score. They get a hit. They've left on 6 overall. We go to the 7th here on a gorgeous day windy day in Wrigley. Cubs 4, Cardinals 2. Well, too early for only one lefty the entire year? Wow. We're going to go with Tim Stoddard. Stoddard would go to the enemy in San Diego in 85. In 84, he went 10-6 with a 3.82 ERA in 58 games. He had 7 saves. He's 31 years old. He throws a hard fastball at 97 and a fly ball pitcher. 92 innings, 77 hits, 9 home runs allowed. Wouldn't that be funny if he gives up one here? 57 walks and 87 strikeouts. And that will just bridge the gap till we can get to Lee Smith. David Green struck out all 3 times. He's been up today. Stoddard starts this afternoon. Got him. So Green was fooled on that one. And so we won't be doing the who on that. He did get fooled again, and he has struck out 4 times today for Tommy Herr, who is 0 for 3. Now, I was asked if I was going to do any Bob Costas and Tony Kubek impressions. No. I will do Howard because the meeting, Costas tells the story of the first time that he met the enigmatic Howard Cosell. And Cosell and the Rug looks at him and go, "You're the boy who rhapsodizes about the infield fly rule." Howard was not impressed and Bob was thrilled. Tommy Herr, 0 for 3. Stoddard hits a ground ball to Durham, does Herr, and Leon steps on the bag, 2 out. Here's Art Howe, Hart 0 for 2 with a walk. Pitch, Ken Oberkfeld's going to pinch hit. So Oberkfeld, who will go to the Braves in 85 at 309, 11 RBI, and a triple. Right back to Stoddard. Over to Durham for the out. Out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. And it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. And it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Hey, let me hear you out there. I think in 7 years I've never done that before, but what better way to do it than at Wrigley Field in a tribute to Ryne Sandberg, who, by the way, is 2 for 3 in this one. Dave Rucker gets the call. We'll tell you about him. Sandberg, 2 for 3. A run scored. Rucker will pitch for the Phillies in 85 with the Cardinals in 84. 26 years old. Fastball at 89. Just wanted to make sure I was actually showing you the screen and not me. 50 appearances for the Cardinals, 2 and 3. A lefty with a 2.10 ERA. The rest of his numbers: 73 innings, 62 hits, 34 walks, 38 strikeouts. He's the 3rd pitcher in for St. Louis after Cinderella and Jeff Lottie. Sandberg, 2 for 3. Has singled twice and scored. He's going to get another hit. How about that? So he punches his 3rd single of the ball game in, and the 8th hit for the Cubs. That's pretty good. So here's Gary Matthews. Gary, 1 for 2. A double, 2 runs scored. They got it into a double play and a walk. Rucker, not a good fielder. A 3 with a 737 fielding percentage. I turned up the volume, too, so I could sing along better to that. I'll blame having an old styler for. Throw to first, Sandberg back. They have worried about Ryne the entire game. Pitch to Matthews. Gary hits a slow ground ball to Green. He only has a play with Matthews. Sandberg goes to second, and there's one out for Leon Durham, who cleared the bases in the fifth with a double. Has 3 RBI. Drove in 96 in 84. Sandberg, a big insurance run on second. Durham up the middle, a base hit. Sandberg around will hold. A rare bad play. I think that was Tommy Herr. It was. And so Sandberg was around third, but it was too shallow, and McGee does have a good enough arm. So Sandberg will hold. Here's Cotto. Henry 0 for 1. Durham on first. So the Cubbies have hit Rucker awful hard. That is a slow ground ball to Rucker. And he can't make a play. Sandberg scores 5-2 Chicago. So the first error for the Cardinals brings up Jody Davis, who's 1 for 2, a double and a run scored. Durham on second, Cotto on first, and Sandberg has 2 of the 5 runs in the ballgame for the Cubs. Pitch to Davis. Jody line drive to her, and everyone's got to scamper back. 2 out. For Ryne, who has struck out twice, he's 0 for 3. Fly ball, left field. Crowd likes it. So does Lonnie Smith. Through 7. Sandberg scores the run. 2 hits and an error, and we go to the 8th. Cubbies 5, St. Louis 2. So Porter, pitcher spot, and Lonnie Smith to face Stoddard, who they would like to get through the 8th because he would bat second in the bottom half of the inning. Porter 0 for 1. He has walked twice. Got him. Stoddard got him to chase a full count fastball at 99 miles an hour. So Dave Rucker will not hit here. 1 for 7, by the way, if you're wondering on the year. It'll be Steve Braun, who hit 276, a triple, and 16 RBI. So 5 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors for the Cubs, both by Larry Boa, and they have left on 8. The Cardinals, 2 runs, 6 hits, an error, and they have left on 11. Stoddard deals. Ground ball to Boa, over to Durham, 2 out. So here's Lonnie Smith. Lonnie is 0 for 4. So Steve Trout in line for the win. Fly ball, left field. Matthews will make the catch, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. It'll be Dave Von Olen, who goes to Cleveland after this. New pitcher coming in, bottom 8, 5-2 Cubs. So the Cardinals not going to see Bruce Sutter in this one. Von Olen, 1-0, 27 games, and a save. 25 years old. Again, he'll go to Cleveland for 85. Fastball at 87. And an extreme ground ball pitcher. Dave, 34 2/3, 39 hits, 8 walks, and 19 strikeouts. If anyone should reach the man of the hour, Ryne Sandberg, will get one more at bat. Boa, 0 for 2 with a walk. Von Olen pitch. Here is a ground ball to third. Oberkfell, who's a 6 out there, throws to Green, and Boa is retired. So Stoddard will come out, and we'll go with, I know that, wow, Thad Bosley. Who is not the president of Hair Club for Men. Coming in, hitting 296, 2 homers, and 14 RBI. Denier on deck. 1 out, bottom 8. 5-2 Cubs. Bosley punches that ticket into right field. Hendrick will pick it up. And you're going to get to see Ryne Sandberg one more time unless Bob Dernier doesn't read the script. Bob has singled, walked, and stolen a base. He's 1 for 3. 5 runs, 10 hits now for the Cubs. Cardinals have 2 runs on 6 hits. That's a hard shot to third. Oberkfell only has a play at first, and Dernier is retired. So Bosley moves up to second for Ryne Sandberg, who was 3 for 4 today. He has singled 3 times and scored twice. And so he is your digital dice MVP regardless of what happens. So a big day for Rhino. Maybe not what he did in real life, but if you've been a fan of the channel, you know what happens in these games. Pitch to Sandberg. Up the middle. Ozzie Smith robs him of a hit. And that'll do. No runs, a hit, and no errors. Ugh. Itchy nose. So Sandberg goes 3 for 5 on the afternoon. Not a bad afternoon's worth of work. And it will be Lee Smith coming in to pitch. Lee Arthur, 9-7 in 84 with a 3.65 ERA. 69 games, 33 saves. He is 26. He throws a fastball at 95 and a ground ball pitcher. 101 innings, 98 hits, 6 home runs. He's walked 35 and struck out 86. And yes, the last time Lee Smith was on this channel was Game 7 of the 88 series. We hope for better things today from Lee Arthur. Ozzie Smith is 1 for 2. A run scored and 2 walks. Smith starts the effort, base hit left field. Matthews will play that off the ivy, and Ozzie's on with a double. So the Wizard has his first hit of the ball game, only the 7th for St. Louis. Here's McGee. He is 3 for 4. He has singled 3 times and struck out once. Ripped to first. Durham, 1 out. Ozzie's run is window dressing if no one gets on. Cardinals, by the way, 3 to tie, 4 to go ahead. George Hendrick, 1 for 4. He has singled and driven in 1 of the 2 runs. Got away from Davis, and Ozzie Smith scores. So a pass ball. That wind is now blowing in from right at 31. So the Big Mac wrappers at the neighborhood McDonald's are blowing on the field. A 2-2 count to Hendrick as Lee Smith shakes his head. He deals. Got him. 2 out. Last chance saloon for David Green, who has been a perfect strikeout victim all day. 4 for 4. So Lee Smith on this warm day with a huge wind blowing off Lake Michigan coming in roaring behind him. He deals. Up the middle, we're not done yet. So a single, and Tommy Herr is now the tying run. Tommy is 0 for 4 today. I used to love Lee Smith. Just saying. He deals. Ground ball to Boa, over to Sandberg, and that's how this ends. Hey, hey! Cubs win 5-3. In 3 hours and 37 fake minutes, the Cubs win the Ryne Sandberg game by the score of 5-3. 5 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors for the Cubs. They leave on 9. The Cardinals, 3 runs, 8 hits, an error, and they left on 12. Steve Trout gets the win. 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. He walked 5 and struck out 5. Stoddard, a 6-out hold. Retired all 6 men he faced, and Lee Smith broke his jinx. He allowed 2 hits in his inning, a run it was earned, and a strikeout. For the Cardinals, Citarella 4 2/3. He takes the loss, 6 hits, 4 runs all earned. He walked 2 and struck out 1. Jeff Lottie, inning and a third, a single, or a hit rather, a walk and 3 strikeouts. Rucker gave up an unearned run, and then Von Olin pitched the 9th. And of course, Ryne Sandberg, 3 for 5 in this one, 3 singles, 2 runs scored. He did 2 putouts and had 2 assists. So pretty much a great day for Ryne Sandberg. And although it wasn't the drama that we did on this date on June 23rd, 1984, that's a legitimate MVP performance, him and Leon Durham. So that will do it. Way too young and a legend. And it started on this date, June 23rd, 1984. I'm Ron Juckett. Thank you so much for watching. Godspeed, Rhino.